Greetings, y'all. I'm Miss Victorious, and tonight's topic is healing without an apology. So, I've noticed that a lot of us have gone through things in life, and we've been taught that we're to forgive people that have hurt us, and that also it frees us when we forgive, and it allows us to move past certain situations in order to have better relationships, better lives, and just better interactions with people. And a lot of people don't understand how you can forgive without receiving an apology. And in a lot of cases, that's where the most strength comes from. First, it comes from having a relationship with Jesus Christ and being in communion and relationship with God. Because of the simple fact, a lot of things that I've gone through, I had to get through by facing the pain that it caused, and by facing invisible faces, because of the simple fact that people have passed on that have violated me, or people just refuse to accept or acknowledge the fact that they even did anything. So, let's say it like this. In fifth grade, I was sexually assaulted by two guys in my neighborhood. And one held a gun on me and forced me to do acts on the other person. Now, as I got older, you know, certain things that happen to us causes us to do certain things or become promiscuous, or you know feel that we have to give ourselves in certain ways to get receive certain things from people. And even though that was not the first time I was sexually assaulted, it was the very first time that I was sexually assaulted with a weapon held on me. Now, a question that an old classmate had asked in reference to something that took place in elementary, at first grade or whatever, elementary school, drew back a memory that made me realize that before second grade, before I got hit by a car, that I was already being molested. And it happened from a young guy that was in our neighborhood. And maybe it was two or however, but I say when I wrote down things, I was basically violated by my entire neighborhood. And the reason why I say that is because there was a neighbor that I used to play with. Her uncle and grandfather molested me. And this young lady actually was my first female experience. And I was in elementary school, and it happened with a sleepover. So it's actually one of the reasons why I don't allow my sons to go and do sleepovers, because they don't know exactly what other people are exposed to or what goes on in their house. And I never wanted my children to go through some of the things that I went through. But you know, that young guy that used to do things to me, I don't ever know what happened to him, but that's one person that I would never get an apology from. And I had to forgive that, because regardless of what, for him at first grade to do something to me, something must have been going on with him. You understand? So, also at the same time, the the father and the grandfather and the son or the uncle and the grandfather of the young lady that I had my first female to female thing with. I don't know what their issue was, but they were older, and the way God got that back, and I didn't realize it until I got older. You know, the uncle ended up getting murdered. Um, there was another guy in our neighborhood that used to visit with my brother that basically molested me, and one of my brother's classmates, who he still is friends with to this day, molested me. And to this day, the guy denies it. The other guy, I ran into him, and when I saw him and I told him, you know what, I forgive you for what you did to me, he was like, well, what did I do? And if I did, then I do apologize. But when you say if I did anything to you, when somebody is actually telling you that they did something, then that's like denial on their behalf. But, however, my healing process came from my relationship with God, and it was very hard to do because I felt that in all actuality, I needed to hear what was it about me that made you feel that you had to do something so perverted to me or something so traumatizing to me. And those are just to name a few of the things that I've been through. But I learned that, unforgiveness, it actually is like you wishing that this person would drink some poison and die. But it's actually you holding on to the poison and you're slowly dying because that violation is like just eating away with you. Um, I've been gang raped. At an age probably 20 something or 18 or 19, maybe 19, 20 years old. I was dealing with a guy, and he forced me by gunpoint again to perform on his friend. And the only reason why I got to that point of a weapon involved is because I would not do it. So therefore, he forced me to do it. Um, the last encounter that I had of being sexually assaulted resulted in my third son being born. And, in my life, before God changed my life around, I felt that I had healed from all of this stuff. It wasn't like, okay, somebody that has been like molested once or twice or, been raped once or twice. No, my situations were a lifetime of violations. So in my walk with Christ, before he changed my life, because in 2014 he dismantled everything in me that was built up by the enemy. And that was only built up by the enemy because of me getting hit by a car and not being able to remember. So, excuse me, from 6 years old to 34 years old, I lived in a life of an amnesic state, meaning I was taught a lifestyle and I was formed in a way of perversion. So therefore, those early years of perversion caused me to act out in certain ways that was just like ugh, promiscuous. It was dangerous. It was risque, as they would call it. But um, having that relationship with Jesus Christ, it caused me to face demons that I didn't know about. And I remember painting a picture, and on that picture was a faceless image and the shoulders and all these different colors, but at the bottom it started with dark. But as it came up to the top, it was just colorful. And however, That painting, I called it Faceless Fears. It's in my shed along with two other paintings that I did, And when I started getting clear about things, I was like, wow, that painting actually meant something. And it was named Faceless Fears for a reason, because not all of my violators had a face. Meaning, I don't remember every single person that violated me, but I do know the images. I remember the area. I remember people. However, those people that helped me at gunpoint at 5th and 5th grade, the guy that held the gun on me, he ended up getting shot in the face with a shotgun. And I remember my dad's sister praying a prayer that everybody that harmed me, may God repay them however he saw fit. Um, the guys that used to chase me with their pit bulls, half of them are dead. One of them is in jail for murder, but before he got locked up for murder, he got shot by the police, shot in the face and shot in the groin. And it's sad, because also at the same time, the biggest disappointment and violation that I ever experienced was from my mom. And that violation was basically abandonment, neglect, abuse, even to the last year or whatever, with me just trying to be accepted by her. It was rejection unless I basically bowed down to kiss her butt, which I just wasn't gonna do, because she rolled out. This scar on my hand, it comes from a 3rd-degree burn that went all the way up my arm to when she stuck my hand in hot scalding water in this bathroom that's in this house. So the thing about it is, forgiveness is this thing where you don't hold the person accountable for what they've done to you. You don't wish bad on them. You acknowledge that, especially when you're walking with Christ, you acknowledge that we are actually living in the earth that is run by spiritual realm. We got angelic spirits by God, and we got demonic spirits by Satan. Ephesians 6 tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places, against rulers of darkness and principalities. I don't know where the scripture is, but it says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are mighty unto God to pulling down strongholds. So, it's like we fight battles of things that we can't see. And we're to use God's word to fight those battles that come in within us. And as we fight the good fight of faith, we use God's word to come against every demonic attack that is set against our lives. And it sets us free, because we find out that God has a plan for our life. And the enemy sets an attack on our life because he doesn't want us to take down his kingdom. But the thing about it is that when we're called according to God's purpose, and because we left him, all those things that was meant to destroy us, that meant to hurt us, meant to break us, that was meant to take us out, it was actually working together for our good. And I could not understand how those things could work together for my good until God put neighbors beside me, where the 14-year-old girl kept running away. But I was able to minister to her. And I don't know how she is now, but 2 years ago when I checked on her, she was no longer running away. She was no longer giving her body to these guys, because the last time she went out there, They wasn't trying to return her, and they put her out there on the streets. But her father loved her so much that he went and got her. And that's how God is for his children. When we're out there, because the enemy has set an attack on us and caused us to do the wrong things, our Father, he leaves the 99 and comes to get us, that one. Whew. So, when we are to heal, we're to forgive. Even though we can't see a face of those that we need to forgive, we will have to go through a process of, what it say, forgiving 70 times 7. 70 times 7. 70 times 7. That's how many times we got to forgive the person that has hurt us, the person that has come against us. Even though we have to get hit with one cheek and turn to the other cheek so they can hit us on that one, we gotta walk in it. We gotta walk in it. But it's not like, oh, okay, I forgive this person and everything's okay. No, it's like every day when that thing comes to you, well, when the enemy tries to bring it to you, because God does not bring up stuff. Only the devil brings up the pain and the hurt and everything else. But when those things try to come back up, you be like, you know what? Because they did this, but I grew from it and I became stronger because of it, I forgive them. Every second. It's like going to NA. It's not one day at a time. It's 1 second at a time, 1 minute of a time, 1 hour of a time, 1 day at a time. And it just keeps going. Each second, each minute, each hour, each day, each second, each minute, each hour, each day. Forgive, 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 forgive. Until you can actually see that person. And even though they violated you, you can actually bless them. Hey, how you doing? Glad to see you doing okay. I pray all is well with you and that God keeps you. Holla. Eat. That, yeah. And it's hard, especially when I have to explain to my children, you know, your grandmother did this and she did it to your brother. She will not make things right with me, so therefore I can't have y'all around her. Because whatever she felt for me, she took it out on my oldest child. I don't care who they are. You still give them honor, you still give them respect, and you show them love. But you don't have to open yourself up to their toxic ways, their negativity, or none of that stuff. But you must be healed. Because if you don't heal, if you don't forgive, you have bitterness in your heart. And that causes just a lot of, ugh. I really can't say what it really causes because I'm not bitter. I just tell the truth about people and I have peace with certain things. But I see how bitter people are. And it's just a nasty, ugh. You don't want to be around that type. And if you want the people to be around you and you want people to smile and laugh and you cause people to smile and laugh, then you're going to have to do something about it to get yourself in that place, regardless of what people have done to you. I've had to forgive so much. And then, excuse me, there was a point where, okay, I learned that I had to forgive these people. But once it got to a certain point, everything else was not just me doing stuff that could have harmed me, but it was from some stuff that happened, but it was me doing it. So then I had to forgive myself for the self-destructive ways. And I'm tired. I'm trying to tell y'all. It was very hard. This past 6 years have been a hard year for me to walk through and go through because I had to relive all that stuff that I thought I had already healed from. But because I had went through a dissociative identity disorder when I was going through it back then, I had to revisit all of that stuff. But the faithful thing about it was God held my heart, and I remember Him pulling. It was like, yeah, this happened to you right here. I need you to feel that, process it, pray about it, and let it go. Yeah, this happened right here. But His hand was right there, holding my heart as each and every layer came through. So I pray that this blesses somebody. I'm about to turn in. I probably should have did it earlier, but I was dealing with my children. And I pray that anybody that comes across this video, you are able to go through your healing process, your forgiving factor, and that you can be free to love people, to love yourself, and to love those that have come against you. Peace, y'all. I'm victorious, and you can be too.